glad to be here. I am excited. This information is critical. I congratulate you on being here today. We have got some great things for you. Thank you, Lazet, for inviting me. I am so glad to be a part of the Paartay. Woo! It is so good to be here. So I am a pediatrician, and my heart is all about wellness and like taking care of yourself. And you're going to hear me say this over and over again. But when I'm talking about wellness, I am not just talking about being fit, but also talking about being mentally well, socially well, and spiritually well. You know, each of us was created for a unique purpose. You have a purpose, I have a purpose. But in order to accomplish that purpose, we have to be healthy, right? So, you know, what is healthy? You know, disease. It's important to know that, yep, you don't have this or you don't have that. Yep, that is a part of being healthy. But as I just said, being physically healthy is only a part of it. We have to take care of our mental health, our social health, our spiritual health, so that we can be completely well and accomplish the purposes that God has for us. I don't know about you, but I would say this past year, we have been so tested in all areas of our well-being. And it's just been critical that we address those areas as we kind of go through this pandemic and beyond this pandemic, so we can not only flourish, but we can become all that God has called us to be. If you think about our physical health, if you had not had good physical health prior to COVID, you were more susceptible to infection, more susceptible to illness, sickness, hospitalizations, and even possibly death. Our mental and our social health has been challenged as well, because we've been isolated, we haven't been able to interact with our community, and our spiritual health has been affected. When has there been a time where you couldn't go to church, or you couldn't interact with those people who encourage you and give you peace and, you know, support you as you go through? You definitely had to effort to keep these areas healthy and well over the past year. So how did you do? Did you pass the test? Did you keep yourself well over this past year? Well, I hope I'm coming here today. I just want to encourage you. If maybe you had some areas that you were challenged in, most of us have, that this is the time to just sit down, take a deep breath, and get well. Let's get well. This pandemic will not be with us forever. I declare that we will be done with this pandemic and we're going to go on. But even in the midst of the pandemic, God has given us the authority and the power to still be well and to still do all the things that He's called us to do. So let's take a look at this. You know, the thing is, oftentimes, I know even prior to this pandemic, I even took my health for granted. But we have to consider our health as essential. And remember, it's not just like a destination, but it is a journey, and it comes as with decisions that you make every day, healthy decisions that you make every day, day by day. That's how you accomplish your health and become well, by making choices day after day. And remember, it's not even just about you. It's about your children. It's about your spouse. It's about your family, your extended family. It's about your community. When you choose to be healthy, you change the culture of your house. That's how I like to explain it. Your choice to be healthy, your choice to live a healthy example for your children, you become a role model, and the culture of your house changes. This is not something that just happens overnight often, but over time, those gradual changes, more fruits and vegetables, getting rid of the junk, choosing to exercise, turning that screen time off, all those things make a difference, and you change the culture of your home. You are a change agent. You have the ability to make things different in your home, in your community, by living the life that God has called you to live and to be well. So what are we going to do? We're going to just talk today just about those various components. Physical, remember, mental, social, and spiritual. So let's get started, okay? All right, so I don't know about you, but I know that in this past year, I have gained some extra pounds. That's most, we call it like the COVID-15, whatever you want to call it. People have gained weight over the past year. You know, we haven't been moving. We've been stuck inside our home because of fear or concerns about the disease. We haven't been able to go to our gyms if you were a person who went to the gym. So everything has really changed. So we have to effort ourselves to make those changes. So let's take a look here. So first, if we start with exercise, We are to be exercising most days of the week. Most days of the week. So that's 7 days. If you can exercise 5 or 6 days out of the week, that is significant. But let's say you're not exercising anything, any days of the week. What can you do? You can start with just a couple days a week. I think another important thing is people think, oh, I can't do this. I can't run. I can't do sit-ups. I can't. But remember, exercise is moving your body. And it's also moving your body to the point that you might be sweating a little bit. So do you like to dance? That's a good way to exercise. Do you like to hula hoop? Maybe that's you. You can do that. Do you like to garden? There are so many different ways that you can exercise. Now is the time to sit down and pick 2 or those 3 of those activities and grab hold of them and start getting busy. If you can't think of anything, Google. We have those computers. We can get on those computers, go on the internet, find some exercises and do it with people on the internet. And I encourage you to join with somebody else. Maybe you can't meet with somebody, but you can get on the computer and do Zoom. You can get there and you guys can hold each other accountable. When we have accountability partners, oftentimes we do so much better than when we're doing it by ourselves. We check each other. Hey, did you get your 30 minutes? Hey, did you get your 20 minutes? Okay, I walked a mile today. How did you do? And we kind of encourage you that we are designed to do life together. And this is a great way to do life together. Not only can you exercise together, but it also allows you an opportunity to socially interact as well. So what about our eating habits? Well, we all know we got work to do there. Get the junk out of your cupboards. I'm not saying I don't believe in a life of absolutes. So I always tell my kids, you know what? I can't imagine a life without Kit Kat or Oreos or whatever it is. I love those things. So if you have your sweet tooth or you have your salty things, I'm not saying they have to totally go away, but don't keep them in the house. Maybe that's for a special occasion. You go to the movies, or maybe it's movie night at home, whatever it is, but you can have that one thing, but don't keep them around. We need to look at our plate and choose to eat healthier. So here's a great example. This is from myplate.gov. This is how it should be. Now, typically, think about a picnic plate. I love to use a picnic plate. And even if you're getting started, this is a great way to start. Get a package of picnic plates. Now, normally, what do we keep in the big compartment? Yeah, we keep the ribs, the chicken, the hamburger, all that meat we pile up on one half of the plate. Then we might have a fruit or vegetable, and then we might have our starch or our grain. Well, let's change our mind, because really that's what you're going to have to do in order to be healthy. So here on the myplate.gov, half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. Half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. Why more fruits and vegetables? Well, first of all, they have water in them and they have fiber in them, and they contain necessary vitamins and nutrients. Those are essential for you. And the more fiber that you include in your diet, the more hearty your food will be and the more you'll be feeling full. So oftentimes, you'll eat a lot of meat, you might have a little bit of grains, a little bit of this, but oftentimes you might feel bloated, you don't feel good. You need more fruits and vegetables in your diet. So this is a great way to think about it. More fruits and vegetables, and you have your grain. Think about your protein being like the palm of your hand. You don't need 4 and 5 pieces of whatever it is that you eat in terms of your meat. Reduce your meat down, increase your fruits and vegetables. We know that the leading cause of death in the United States is cancer and heart disease. And both of those are very closely related to what we are putting in our body. Change what you are putting in your body. There is no excuse. We have George Foreman grills, Instapots, we've got air fryers. Bake, broil, and grill are your best friends, okay? So now is the time to change it. If you haven't changed it before, think about experimenting, trying new things. I know I have the air fryer. That's my friend. That's the thing I do. Sometimes when I have a taste for fried food, I'm not a big fried food person, but I put something in the air fryer. I like grill food as well, so I bought an indoor grill. Whatever it is, experiment. Go beyond what you normally do. Even if it's just 1 meal a week to start off with, that is still success. You are still going in the right direction. So I encourage you to do that. And the other thing, check your portions. Check your portions. I should say, we should check our portions. Take a look at this. This is how things have changed over the year. We have what we call portion distortion. Look at what we normally get. If you look at what we're served today versus what a true serving is, look at the difference there. This is another area where if you had more fruits and vegetables, you would feel more full. You wouldn't need the half a plate of French fries or the quarter pounder, that sort of thing. Even if you have to eat fast food, which we don't encourage you to do, if you haven't, maybe you just get the hamburger or you just get one thing and then fill up with fruits and vegetables or have a salad. Leave some of those other things, the pop, the sugary stuff, the French fries, the fried food, leave it there and maybe have that one thing, but pile on the fruits and vegetables. But remember, we are victims of portion distortion. Change your portions. We need to change our portions and what we're eating. Okay, so that's the physical component. Let's talk about the mental health component. Like in our community, we have such a stigma around mental health. Oftentimes, people say, you pray, you don't need to go see a therapist. You just need to pray more. Well, that is by far my number one thing. And you'll see that in just a few minutes. But there is some serious problems with trauma that we have experienced over the past year and years before and within our community. And we need to get a hold of our mental health, find the peace that we need. You have experienced trauma, especially over the past year. You're not going crazy. Take a look at some of these things and tell me or ask yourself, have I experienced some of these changes in my sleep patterns, mood swings, withdrawal from my loved ones? I normally want to be with my family, but now I'm withdrawing to myself. Am I excessively fatigued? Do I have pains that are new and different? Have I lost interest in my usual activities? These are all signs of trauma. We have been traumatized this past year. No other time, like we talked about before, have we been called to just drop everything shut down, people being sick, we've lost loved ones, friends, family members. It has been traumatic, and you may have experienced trauma. These are some signs of that. So what are you going to do if you've experienced trauma? You are going to take a look at your mental health and feel better. The next slide. Well, like I said, number one thing is prayer, because we know that God is a restorer. We know that he is a healer. We know that he can overcome anything. He is our very present help in times of trouble. He is our anchor. So I always say prayer is first. But I also know, just like he's giving us physical doctors, he's given us mental health professionals that can help us. So I encourage you, if you are having problems, if you're experiencing some of those signs of trauma, get some help. There is help out there. We now have telehealth. You don't even have to leave your house. You can log online and talk to somebody there. Or if you feel like going out, you can go out and speak to somebody, but talk to somebody. I can't remember a time in my practice, and this is pediatrics, so I take care of babies all the way up until they're about 19 or 20, that I have seen more kids come in with depression and anxiety. We have to model that health for our families. If we're having a problem, get help. If you see your child having a problem or your young person having a problem, don't bury your health. Don't bury your head. Make sure that they get the help that they need. We don't want to see our young people committing suicide or turning to drugs or alcohol or sexual activity to get the peace that they need or the peace that they think they're going to need in these things. We know these things don't provide peace. They are to destroy us. And that's not the life that God would have us to have. He wants us to be full of joy. Joy comes from what's on the inside. And he wants us to have peace and happiness and to enjoy ourselves. So you want to get the mental health help that you need. Also, get involved. If you can't go to church, then maybe you join church online and become an active part of that. Get support groups, maybe a couple of your friends. I know what we do sometimes is we'll do a Zoom on a Friday night and have a girlfriend get together on a Friday night together. So this is a great thing that you can do. So the more social interaction you have, which we're going to talk about in a minute, makes a difference in your mental health. So let's talk about social health. That's a new one. Maybe some of you haven't heard of that before. Social health is how we connect with other people. How are our relationships going? Do we respect other people? Are they respecting us? Do we have healthy bonds, not only with our family members, but with our community? So many times, especially in this case of the pandemic, we've been socially isolated. If you did an effort, you could easily go days without seeing somebody or talking to somebody. We want to respect our social health, and we want to take time to nourish our social health as well. We need other people. We are designed to do life together. What is it? Iron sharpens iron, right? So we want to have social health as well. And of course, I can't end this without saying spiritual health. We have been out of church. We haven't been in the church building, but hopefully some of you have connected online, and some of us are back in the church building. Well, if you haven't, this is the time. You want to do that. We know that ultimately we can achieve all these other health areas, but if we haven't taken care of our spiritual health, there will be no peace. And the other thing too about our spiritual health, which I mentioned before, is God has a purpose for you. And if you're not plugged into the source, you won't know what that purpose is, and you won't be able to fully accomplish it. So plug in, get your quiet time back. It has been so hectic. There's been so much going on. Turn the screen time off. What I have been suggesting to people is, yes, you want to know what's going on in the news, but at the same time, maybe that's just from 8 to 8:30, or maybe 5 to 5:30. Then shut it off, because we need to seek peace and we need to hear from the Lord what our calling is, what we're supposed to be doing, how we're to handle the day, how to deal with our family members. I don't know about you, but so many of us, because we've been so closed up in a house, it sometimes has put a strain on some relationships even. We need to take time to minister to our spouses, minister to our family members, and to be ministered to. But the only way we'll know how to properly do that is by plugging into the source. So spiritual health. So all those are so essential. And the last thing that I wanted to talk, I couldn't go today without talking about the pandemic and the health that we have to have with the pandemic without talking about the vaccine. I know in our community especially, there are so many myths around, should I get the vaccine or what have you? Well, the vaccine is life-changing. And so I take it very seriously as a medical profession. I know you have been through a lot this past year. We have been through a lot this past year and seen a lot. Here is our opportunity to help turn the tide, to change the way things are going. Yes, we can isolate. Yes, we can quarantine. Yes, we can eat better and all those things. But the vaccine is also another opportunity to be healthy. Michigan has the 4th highest COVID-19 mortality rate for Black people. And most of us know someone who has passed or has been significantly affected by COVID-19. Black people represent 75% of COVID-19 diagnoses by race and nearly 90% of the deaths. The vaccine is our opportunity to change that. With the Pfizer vaccine, you have 95% chance of not getting COVID if you get the Pfizer. With Moderna, the number is 94%. So these are opportunities for us to protect ourselves, to protect our family members. Even if you don't do it for yourself, do it for the elderly people, those people with chronic illnesses in your community. I want to strongly encourage you to consider getting the vaccine. So thank you so much for having me today. I just want to end with, reminding you of what the Word of God says. The Lord says, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, right? Physical, mental, social, spiritual health, even as your soul prospers. God has a plan for your life. Remember, we started with that. He has a purpose for your life. He has something that he needs you to do. And in order to accomplish that, you have to be healthy. You've made the best decision being here today to get this information. And once you get the information today, put it into action. Make a change. We have to decide day by day to live healthier, to choose life and have life more abundantly, just as God designed for us to do. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day and enjoy the information you're going to get today. It's so glad being with you. So good I was able to be with you. Take care.